Thank you very much. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to everybody. My name is Mwende Karutu, Head of Programs at Gifted Gems, and would like to welcome you today to today's webinar hosted by Gifted Gems. We are grateful that you've taken your time to join us for this important conversation on inclusive nutrition for children with autism. And I hope it will be educative for all of us, and at the end of the day, we will be able to learn more. So as I have mentioned, the host today is Gifted Gems Organization, and our main focus is equipping caregivers with practical knowledge that empowers the families and also help in promoting diagnosis and intervention for autism amongst children. One thing that I would like to mention is when it comes to matters autism, nutrition plays a central role in a child's development. And in most of the cases, you find it's a very challenging area for caregivers with children who are autistic. You find there's selective eating and sensory sensitivities to gastrointestinal issues that affect these children. And so we are keen as an organization to try and address challenges that the caregivers are facing. Today's session is designed to give us a clear, evidence-based guidance. So we are just not fumbling in the dark. We go out of our way to look for knowledge that is practical and that can be of help to our caregivers. We are honored to have you here. And also the other thing is that in our webinars, we try our level best to engage experts. And today we will be engaging a nutrition expert with us who will break down common feeding challenges, share practical meal ideas, and explain how to manage issues like Pica safely, and also help us understand how food and behavior intersects with autism. From that end, as I said, we will be taken through this session by an expert. Our expert today is Lisa Raisa Akoth Ogutu, who is a clinical dietitian and a pediatric nutritionist with hands-on experience supporting children on issues to do autism spectrum. She specializes in using nutrition to support calming, brain development, gut health, and overall growth, while working closely with parents to address feeding challenges and behavioral concerns. Lisa is passionate about practical, evidence-based guidance that empowers their families. And to this end, as we continue to engage in this session, I would like us to feel free to ask our questions, and we can write them through our chat, and we will be able to have a question and answer sessions at the end of it.
Okay, thank you very much, Mwende, for that introduction. And I want to bring on board Raisa Ogutu. Please unmute yourself, introduce yourself, and we shall move on from there.
Thank you much. Thank you very much, Caroline and Mwende. So, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you. So imagine you're sitting down to eat and the room that you're eating in feels very hot and the lights are too bright and the smell of food is very overwhelming and every bite that you eat feels unpredictable. Now imagine being told, eat, unasumbua. You are being very difficult. Just eat. So for many children on the spectrum, this is what meal times feels like for them every single day. So inclusive nutrition starts when we understand that refusal is not stubbornness, it's communication. Good evening, everyone. My name is Raisa Ogutu. I'm a pediatric nutritionist working with children on the spectrum and cerebral palsy. And I also support caregivers and families in their daily nutrition journey. On a personal level, I'm also a mom to an autistic child, so I understand this journey perfectly, both professionally and at home. And my work focuses on simple, practical food choices that fit into our everyday Kenyan homes. And I know caregiving can be very overwhelming and demanding. So my goal as a nutritionist is to make nutrition easier, affordable, and supportive for each and every child unique needs. I'm very happy to be here this evening and to share with everyone and learn from each other and also to walk this journey together. Thank you very much. I hope I'm audible enough.
Yes, you are.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
Caroline.
much. It's such an honor to have you. We are indeed very blessed and we are grateful that you could make the time to come and speak with us and to us about this very important topic. Now let's, I think, just dive into it. For somebody who is new, who's never heard about autism, give us just a brief introduction on autism and what inclusive nutrition means in that setup.
So the objectives of this session will be to understand inclusive nutrition in autism, identifying feeding challenges and Pica, learning practical feeding strategies, and to know when to seek professional support. So I'll start. Inclusive nutrition means ensuring every child can participate in a way that respects their sensory, developmental, and cultural needs. So for autistic children, categorically, this means meeting the child where they are without forcing them to fit in. It's about moving away from one size fits all diet. For example, what works for one child may not work for another. So in a family setup, maybe if you have 3 children and you decide to buy a type of shoe, one type of shoe of the same size, and give them to the 3 children that you have. So some of the children will get hurt. Some, the shoe will slip off, and some, the shoe will be perfect. So in nutrition, it works this same way. Each child needs a plan that fits their body. So instead of forcing a child to eat certain foods because maybe it has worked for someone else, inclusive nutrition starts with observing, understanding, and adapting to the child's needs. Are we together?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So inclusion in this context is all about adapting the environment to the child and not forcing the child to adapt to the environment. It's about making meal times comfortable and enjoyable for the child. The basic nutrient needs are the same for all the children, but for autistic children, they are more likely to be selective in eating. and they're also at a higher risk of having nutrient deficiencies, and also they are more prone to GI issues that affect absorption and appetite also. So the difference is the risk level maybe, and the approach that you'll take, the nutritional approach that you'll take. Common feeding challenges, or maybe I'll explain more on this. Okay, I'll use an example that maybe all of us can relate with, or maybe an experience that I've had. So I once worked with a caregiver whose autistic child only ate 3 foods. That is plain rice, yogurt, and biscuits. So every day his meals were served on the same blue plate. The plate had sessions, like we have plates that have maybe 2 or 3 partitions. So in the same, he only had to sit on the same seat and at the same time. So if the plate was missing, or maybe you tried maybe to change the plate for him, it will be impossible. Or maybe in case maybe you change the type of foods he eats, mealtime turns into tears and distress. So most often, the caregiver complained to me that when relatives were there, they complained that, oh, he's stubborn, stop giving him this and this, he'll just eat. Try and serve him. You know, everyone has their own view. When they come to your house, everyone thinks what they know is right. But you as a parent or a caregiver, you know what works for your child. So they kept saying, oh, your child is stubborn, stop giving him this and this. But one thing the caregiver noticed was that when the child always felt safe and calm and understood, he would eat without pressure. But when he felt pressured, he would refuse everything. So instead of removing the blue plate or trying to change his diet, we kept everything as he liked it. But instead, we didn't force new things to him, but we started to introduce something different. Like we include something different from what he's been eating. So we started with a few pieces of meat. No, it was minced meat, just a spoon. So in one partition of the plate, we would put the cooked minced meat. And at the beginning, the mom thought it would not work. So first he ignored it. Then next he started touching it. After a few weeks, he started to smell it, just scooping it with the spoon and smelling and returning it. And to us, that was progress. So every time I would ask, what happened today? Did he eat? No, he just looked at it. The next week, no, he just looked at it. The next week, no, at least he smelled it. And month later, he tasted it. And this was a big achievement for us, because for a child who will not even look at it, now he's able to eat and even ask for more. That was good progress for us. Excuse me. So that is just trying to explain how inclusive nutrition works. Next, I'll go to feeding challenges and Pica. Common feeding difficulties and their causes. So Pica is the persistent eating of non-food items such as soil, paper. Some children eat hair or soap. So it's not only common in autistic children, but it's also common in normal people, especially pregnant women. In autistic children, Pica comes from hidden nutrient deficiencies. These deficiencies are due to limited diets most of the time, and also difficulty in telling food or non-food items. Some children just eat, like the one can start eating hair. They don't know if it's food or not. Like anything you leave there, if they find rubber, they'll start eating it. They eat toys. So for some, it's difficulty in telling if it's a food or not. And also it's a need, a strong sensory need that they have. So maybe texture or taste or pressure. Pica is the body or the brain asking for something. When we feed the body better, we are able to meet sensory needs safely, and the behavior often reduces. Some of the causes of this may include sensory processing difficulties or differences, anxiety and need for predictability. Some of the causes may also be communication difficulties, like the child can't be able to communicate, and also past negative feeding practices. Maybe they were used to doing something and they were not told to stop, so they'll just continue. Some of the common challenges include food selectivity, which comes mostly due to limited food variety, since they eat majorly one type of food or maybe two types of food. It can also come due to maybe texture or smell aversions. Also, strong preferences for specific brands or presentation. So we can manage Pica safely through close supervision and trying to remove the triggers that make our children want to eat. Like if you know your child has a strong attraction to eating some type of things, like maybe what we've said, soil, maybe rubber, or anything that they eat, you ensure that that thing is kept away from them. We can also use safe chewing alternatives. Like these days we have chewable toys, which help them to reduce the sensitivities that they get. So if Pica is not managed well, it can cause stomach blockage or constipation, which is also very common in autistic children. It can also lead to poisoning. If your child eats something that is poisonous, like maybe lead or soil or paint, it can cause poisoning to the child. It can also cause dental damages. So we should always try to manage Pica safely at home. We can also try and structure snacks that reduce Pica. You know, most of the time when maybe the child wants to eat something that he or she is not supposed to eat, probably they are hungry or they are starving. So if we have a structured time for them to eat, we can help to reduce this. Unstructured hunger increases Pica. Then encourage the caregiver to ensure.
Sorry, you're not very clear. We are losing you at some point.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay. If we schedule for small meals every 2 or 3 hours, you know, young children mostly, they are always on the move. They are always very hungry because of that running up and down. So ensure after every 2 or 3 hours, they have something to bite or chew. Then include protein and carbohydrates in their diet, mostly protein. It helps the tummy to feel full for longer. Then increase supervision, especially outdoors. when your child goes out and you know they like eating soil or stones, ensure the person who is looking after them looks and ensures that they don't eat the soil. Also, keep non-food items out of reach. We can also offer safe oral alternatives like the chewable sensory toys that I've mentioned. These days, they are very common in the streets, even in the shops. You can easily get them. So ensure at least you have 1 or 2 chewable sensory toys, and avoid punishment and focus on redirection. I know this is a bit hard because you might talk for long, because most of the time you think like they don't listen. So just try and be calm and maybe correct them in a different and better way. You can also use crunchy foods like carrots, roasted maize, or sugarcane. It helps a lot with the Pica and ensuring and keeping the child's mouth busy. So in case of danger, you can seek medical attention. Some of the symptoms that can make you seek the medical attention: abdominal pain or vomiting, blood in stool. So you have to be very intentional with this, because most of the time when they poop, you don't look at the poop. You just let them poop on their own. So ensure you check, you see if maybe they have sudden constipation or diarrhea, or maybe choking episodes. Selective eating is not stubbornness. Most of the time, the child can be selective because of the sensory sensitivities that they may be going through. Introducing new foods to selective eaters, it's usually about the sensory safety or predictability and trust. So we can use a step-by-step approach. Like you can let the child first tolerate, as I've explained in the blue plate story. Let the child first tolerate the new food. If you're introducing something new to the child, let them first tolerate it. Just let them look at it, see it. The more they are seeing it, it will become familiar to them. Then after tolerating it, they'll be able to touch it. Once they touch it, they'll want to smell it. After smelling it, they'll want to lick it. So let the child go one step at a time. Most of the time, we as parents, we just expect that you'll introduce something new to a child on the first day and they will start eating it and they will like it. In this session, we are advised to let the child take their time. Progress is not eating the food immediately. It's allowing them to learn, allow them to touch, to smell, to lick, to bite, and eventually they'll be able to eat. So on a personal level, my little boy doesn't eat a lot of fruit. So most of the time he only eats banana. So on his break, on his lunchbox, I usually pack fruit. So while I pack for the sister, I also pack for him. So I always when they open school, I started packing apples. But I know very well he doesn't eat apples, because I'm packing for the sister, so I can't pack for one. So the first week, there was nothing. It would come back the way it was. Second week, so starting this week, we noticed that the apple came back when it had some teeth bites, meaning he has already started to touching it and smelling it, and now we are in the step of maybe licking and biting. And I'm sure very soon he'll start to eat. So that is progress which we want. So one day at a time, without insisting. Okay, I'll move to reducing mealtime stress. We have some helpful strategies that can help in making meal times more welcoming to the child, for lack for a better word. One is by having predictable routines. If your children always eat at a certain time, let's say 7, ensure it's 7 every day. Not that today is 7, tomorrow is 8, the next day is 9. Ensure that they always have predictable meal times, like they know when it starts getting dark, already they know it's time for a meal. Ensure that your child eats in a very calm environment. And by calm, I mean there are no distractions. Limit the distractions, especially screens. Most of the children like watching cartoon or just TV in general while eating. So when it's time to eat, ensure it's time to eat and everyone is eating so that they know that when it's time to eat, it's time to eat. It's not time to eat and watching two at the same time. Then have short meal times. Let's say it's 20 to 30 minutes. Don't extend. Maybe you want to force the child on the table for 1 or 2 hours just because maybe they have not eaten. Ensure after you've put the food on the table, give them 20 to 30 minutes. If they have not eaten, remove the food. Give them some time. Like after an hour, bring the food back to them. Then have a neutral caregiver response. You as the caregiver, don't give the child pressure. Don't force the child to eat. Then another point, allow the child to play with food. And yes, I mean play. Let him touch the food. Let him squeeze it. By that, they are getting familiar with the food, especially foods that they maybe don't eat. Allow them to feel the food, to touch. It will help a lot. Then I had mentioned this before, use plates that have sections so that you don't mix the food in one plate. Like in one plate you put maybe, let's say it's ugali, mboga, and meat. They are not like us. So you can't just mix all the foods. Most of the time when you mix, they get overwhelmed. So if you can get these plates that are sectioned, it will be much easier. So you can put ugali in one side, mboga in one side, and the meat in another side. Let them eat what they feel like. Let them eat what they want to start eating. Then talk about the food neutrally. Talk about food neutrally. Like, don't make bad comments about food. Don't shout at them that, eat your carrot. You can try something positive like, wow, this is yummy. Wow, this carrot is crunchy. That will make them want to taste that. Oh, she's saying that it's crunchy. Let me try. But if you just force them, eat, there's no way they'll eat. Then no bribing and no threats. Don't threaten your child to eat. Let them eat when they feel like eating. Then change one thing at a time. If you want to introduce something to the child, a new food to the child, you can try and introduce one at a time. You can't try to introduce two things at the same time and you expect the child to adapt to it. Try one food at a time, like I've already mentioned. Then when introducing a new food, always pair the new food with something that the child already accepts. Don't remove the safe food. Safe food is the food that the child already knows. and you expect them to start something different when they don't see what they like. Put that safe food there, add the new food. Then portion sizes matters a lot. When you're introducing a new food to this child, put very small amount, just small. Don't put like you're trying to introduce maybe meat and you want to put half of the plate to be meat. Just put a piece or two and some soup and watch them. See how they are going to react to it. Then model eating yourself as a caregiver. Eat the food yourself calmly and happily. You know, when a child trusts what they see more than what they are told. Like you can't tell your child, eat, and you yourself, you're not eating. So try and model eating yourself. So when introducing this new food, you should pause when the child maybe is sick. Don't introduce a new food when the child is sick or when the child is tired. Try and introduce this food in the morning or maybe lunchtime. For evening, let him eat what he knows. Then don't also introduce the new food when maybe there's a big routine change. Maybe they have changed school. Already they'll be overwhelmed because going to a new school for our children is not easy. So try not to introduce a new food when there's a big routine change. Or maybe when you're traveling, don't introduce your child to a new food when you're traveling. Then watch your language when you're introducing something new. You can tell your child, you don't have to eat it. Just let it stay on your plate. Just allow him to look at it. Don't force it on him. Let the child first get used to it, as I've already said. Okay, now on supplements and special diets. Supplements are not supposed to cure, and they are only used when necessary. You know, some parents only want to use a supplement because maybe they've had someone else's child used it and it worked. So what might have worked for someone may not work for you. And don't supplement something to your child only because someone else has told you that, oh, I tried this and it worked on my child. Only introduce a supplement when a deficiency is confirmed. You can go to the hospital and get medical guidance that is required. You can also get the supplements when the diet is extremely limited, like the child is not eating at all completely. And also you can use a supplement when it's being recommended by a professional. So some of the common supplements that we have are iron, zinc, omega-3, vitamin D, and multivitamins. So on special diets, some of the common special diets that we have gluten-free, casein-free diets. And this most of the time they are meats, which I think we've come to believe that they are true. So maybe I'll just explain in simple terms. So gluten-free and casein-free diets, I'll start from there. Gluten is a protein that is found in wheat, barley, and rye, while casein is a protein found in milk and other dairy foods. So the reason why most of the time we advise for gluten-free and casein-free diets is because some children may have difficulty in breaking down or digesting the proteins, mostly in the wheat and in milk, which is gluten and casein. So when this happens, there are tiny fragments that may affect the gut, and which in turn will affect the brain, thus influencing behavior, focus, and at times even sleep. And we only consider this diet only when a child has gut issues. Not every child who is autistic should be on a should be on gluten-free and casein-free diet. I hope you are clear there, because most of the time, parents just start on the gluten-free diet and casein-free diet even before confirming if their children are eligible for it. And the moment you deny your child these proteins, and it has not been recommended by maybe a nutritionist, your child will miss this protein and will miss some nutrients in the diet. So it's very important that you don't start the diet without professional guidance. Removing the milk and wheat can make the diet very restrictive. And if it's not planned well, the child may miss key nutrients like calcium, vitamin D, and also some B vitamins. So when we restrict these diets, we always give a food that will be able to cater for the needs that are going to miss. So instead of cow's milk, we can use calcium fortified plants, or we can also use some based milk like oat. While some children are not supposed to take this diet, some are eligible for it. Because some children with GI symptoms like constipation, diarrhea, gas or bloating, and even reflux or abdominal pain, that's the only time we advise for this. And most of the time when you restrict this diet, we give it for a certain period of time to monitor and see if after taking out this diet, does the child improve? Is there any improvement? So you can't just take out this diet and you're not putting something else to cater for that need. Okay, I know you'll have a lot of questions on that. I'll wait for the questions at the end. I'll move to inclusive nutrition, inclusive family and school practices. It means that the child is fed as part of the family and not separated or blamed or forced to fit in. So it doesn't only focus on the child's plate. It looks at how the whole family eats, how we cook, and how the child relates to the food. So what this looks like in real homes, the child can eat with the family. The child should eat with the family, the same table, at the same time. Even if the type of food is different, being present matters more than eating the same food. So it doesn't matter if the child is eating something different from us, but as long as we are all eating in the same table, this means a lot. This is what we call inclusive nutrition. Then family routines should be respected. So this works mostly when we have meal times. Ensure that everyone is present at the table. Then we should maybe adjust on how the food is served, not just what food is served. If your child eats dry food, ensure that you give the child that dry food. as I've said before, don't try to force the child that because everyone is eating this, you must also eat this. Maybe the food that you are forcing to the child is not, they can't tolerate it. So there's no need to force the child to eat what everyone is eating. As long as all of you are sitting on the same table, then that's where you can start introducing the new food that you want the child to eat. Let the child see that you are eating this and make good comments like I've said before. This will encourage the child to want to eat this. Then no child should be blamed or shamed. So this means comments like, why can't you eat like your siblings? Try and avoid such around your kids. Then don't introduce punishment for refusing. Also, don't compare your child to others. Food must never become a battlefield. Let it always be peaceful. Then parents are not supported. Parents should be supported and not judged. You know, as being an autistic parent, already we are going through a lot. And I'm sure as a parent, you're doing your best. And feeding an autistic child is emotionally exhausting. So guide and pressure makes feeding harder. We should always try and offer guidance and not criticism. I know there are people who don't have autistic children but are here. So I'm trying to encourage you. Don't criticize these parents. When you go to a house where there's an autistic child, don't criticize how the child maybe is feeding or why the parent is not telling the child to eat this and this. Try and offer guidance. Don't criticize. Then instead of isolating the child, the family might slightly adjust cooking methods. Ensure that what your child eats is already included in the meal. This helps the child feel safe and included. The child, the child will eat better when they feel safe and accepted. In schools, and we should also not forget about when the children are in school. So we should share the feeding strategies and food preferences to the teachers and the people who are going to take care of them where they're not at home, while they're in school, that is, so that we can ensure and maintain consistency across home and also in school. We can also have community-based interventions like gifted gems, like we are here with them today, by creating parent nutrition workshops. I think this one is one of them. So thank you, Caroline, for that. Feeding support groups, we should have more of this, and also school staff training schools on how to take care of our children's nutritional needs when they're at home, while they're in school. Because we may be doing the right thing at home, but when they go to school, it's something different. You'll find your child is put aside when other children are eating. So ensure we also include schools and staff in the school in this so that we don't lag behind. So on key takeaways, I have a number. First of all, comfort comes before variety. If your child is uncomfortable, maybe they have constipation or reflux or they're bloating, eating will be hard. So ensure you observe if your child has gut issues first before you try to force some food to them. Then fix the pain before pushing new foods. Maybe they're having constipation. Take care of this constipation first. You don't know why your child is having constipation. Maybe the food that you're introducing to your child is what is bringing the constipation. We fix the pain first before pushing new foods. A comfortable child eats so much better. Then stop forcing, start observing. Food refusal is communication. When your child refuses to eat, they are communicating to you. There's something that they're trying to tell you. So food refusal is communication. And watch what happens after meals. After your child has finished eating, what happens? What do you notice? Do they maybe have constipation? Do they have diarrhea? I know some of them can't talk. So ensure you are able to monitor your child and know when they are okay and when they are not okay. Monitor their pattern. Forcing increases fear, not nutrition. The moment you force your child to eat, they will fear meal times. Like when they just see food or when they know it's time to eat, they'll start getting scared. And when the child is scared, they won't eat. That's why most of you complain, oh, my child has refused to eat completely. It's because of the mood that you put to them when it's time to eat. Try and make it more pleasurable to them. Let them look forward to meal times. Then work with accepted food. Start with what your child eats. Before you introduce a new food, ensure what the child likes is on the plate. Then improve the nutrition within those foods. So if they're only eating ugali and maybe let's say soup and they can't eat vegetables, there's a reason why they're refusing to eat the vegetables. You can blend these vegetables, and since they maybe like soup, after cooking the vegetables, you can blend it and put it in the soup. It's not a must for them to eat it while they're seeing like this. But the moment you add it to something that they like, maybe they like soup, and you add the vegetable in the soup, they'll just eat it. Don't force them. Then small progress is still progress. Every small step counts. When they touch the new food, that is progress. When they smell the new food, that is progress. Then make meal times predictable and calm. Always have your meals at the same time. Allow them to use the same plates, the same cup. Ensure that there is minimal distractions while eating and no pressure too. Routine builds safety. The moment there's that routine, they will know it's safe. Then trial, don't eliminate blindly. Not every child needs gluten-free or casein-free diet. Just because it worked on someone doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work on your child. Try one change at a time. You can't change everything at once. Then stop if there's no benefit. Maybe you started the gluten-free diet, you've gone for a month, 2 months, 3 months. There's no change. There's no benefit your child is getting. Instead, they are losing more nutrients in their body. So observation beats restriction. Ensure that you are very observant instead of being strict. Then include the child in family meals. Ensure that if it's possible, prepare the meals together. Allow them to help you wash the tomatoes, the onions. Allow them to peel the onions for you. The moment you include them in preparing, they'll be eager to see, they'll be eager to taste. After touching the tomato, maybe you are peeling potatoes, allow them to wash them for you. They'll be eager to see, and we made this with mommy. How does it taste? So ensure that you include your child in the preparation. Then always use the same routine. I think I've insisted on this a lot. Then celebrate small wins. Touching food counts. Smelling, it counts a lot. Sitting at the table, it also counts a lot. Eating is a journey, not a race. You just take it one step at a time. Then ask for help early. If you notice that your child is having constipation, ask for help. Inquire what can aid the child, because at times our children can go even for a week without going number 2. And this one is very bad for them. There's no way they won't go for a long call and you expect them to be calm. There's no way they'll stay for a week without going for a long call and you expect them to sleep well. There's no way they'll go for that long without pooping and you expect them to not to be hyper and you expect them not to cry. So these small issues like this are what bring some of these things to our children. So ensure you are intentional and very observant. Ask for help early. Then when the weight is also not improving, when you notice that your child's weight is not improving, you don't have to do this alone. Inclusive nutrition is not about perfect eating. It's a comfortable child supported by a calm family.
Okay, thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. Now we want to go straight away to Q&A. I know our participants, our caregivers maybe having questions. So this is the time. Please raise your hand. Also, we'll start with the ones raised on the chats, then we'll pick them. I want to bring in Mwende to do the Q&A, especially from the chats. Then I'll come in, also pick those who've raised their hands. So Mwende, please go ahead. And maybe before Mwende starts, I request Reza as maybe to give more examples as you answer the questions, like what foods, what do you replace if it's what do you replace with what, or what do you give, so that it's more relatable at the home front, what to do. So Mwende, please go ahead.
All right, thank you very much, Carol. And thank you very much, Reza. You've really brought forth information in a way that I believe most of us have understood well. And as you have mentioned, one thing that is key is we should have comfort coming first before variety. And so, as you had predicted, Reza, you said that you may have a lot of questions that will border towards the gut issue. And according to the questions we have on the chat, they are. So what I will do is we will address questions that are the ones that are bordering the issue of gut issues together. So let me start with the first question that was asked by Anne. Anne did say that she's got a 17-year-old boy who is autistic, and she would like to know how best she can deal with him eating too much food. How can it be controlled? Reza?
Okay, thank you very much for this question. So a 17-year-old boy, I know this is one of the common questions I always receive. So at 17, this is an adolescent boy. And with adolescents, we know there's increased appetite. Apart from the increased appetite, there are also growth spurts. So teenagers need more calories and proteins, and also micronutrients. Also, appetite can suddenly increase, and this is very normal. So this is one of the reasons why the child may be eating a lot. And then some teens also usually like crunchy or chewy food. Since the child is autistic, they might need this food to maybe self-regulate, which is similar to steaming. It helps them calm the nervous system down. And eating at times fixes eating.
Yes,
Eating
we
a
can hear
lot
you.
may actually be eating often. Like maybe by this I mean they eat maybe a little at a time. Maybe they'll snack a few minutes. They also want to snack again. Majorly because maybe they are going through a nutrient gap. Like maybe they have low protein or iron or zinc. You should watch what the child eats, because if what they majorly eat is refined food, they will feel hungry faster. So try and ensure your child eats foods that are not refined. Like maybe if it's ugali, ensure they eat brown ugali.
All right. Thank you very much for that answer.
I hope that is clear.
Yes, but as a follow-up to the same, there is a question that has come up twice, and this question is around the area of snacks, examples of snacks that you would recommend to parents.
Try and include foods that are not refined. Like if the child eats bread, let it be brown. Let it be brown, not the white bread that we always eat. Then you can include boiled eggs or maybe a fruit, at least something that helps with constant hunger. And some foods that have a lot of fiber where possible. An example can be maybe roasted groundnut, avocado, sweet potato, roasted maize, at least something that when the child eats, it stays in the stomach for long, like baked cassava or maybe roasted chickpeas. I would advise them to limit sugary biscuits and sodas. These foods are highly processed and they digest fast in the body and increase hunger.
Okay, on the same question, since it's we are talking more about snacks and trying to address the issue of eating too much, there is a question that is asking for foods that meet the nutritional needs, and that once we withdraw foods that have gluten and casein. Can you give us examples on the same of foods that meet nutritional needs and do not have gluten and casein?
Yes, I'm here. That's a very important question. So when we take away the gluten and caffeine-free diet, the diet can still be nutritionally complete. So like for carbohydrates, when you take away the gluten, the child can eat rice. Either we have brown and white. You can eat ugali, sweet potatoes, arrowroots, cassava, matoke. These ones can easily replace the wheat products. And for protein, since we are going casein free, you need something for growth and repair. So we can have beans, lentils, chicken, beef, fish, omena for those who eat eggs, ground nuts. We can also include healthy fats like avocado and coconut oil. Okay.
On the same, you mentioned that we can do a number of foods that are friendly. And another question that is being pointed out here, people are interested in knowing maybe any fruit that you would recommend top on the list.
I think I've mentioned avocado. We have avocado, we have bananas, mangoes, pawpaw, oranges, apples, watermelon. All that is still, you can still eat. Sweet banana too, sweet banana.
Okay, thank you for that. And we move to the next question. The next question is about milk. So your thoughts are being sought on the issue of kefir milk and camel milk. What are your thoughts on that? Kefir and camel milk.
Yeah, so when we are taking away caffeine from the diet, we always advise on taking away cow's milk. So no single food or milk treats autism, but some children may be able to tolerate certain options better than others. Kefir is fermented, it's a fermented milk, and it contains beneficial probiotics. So I would advise on that, especially for children who have gut issues. As much as we are going to I'm advising for kefir, it's still dairy and it contains caffeine, but it's fermented. So fermented milk is easier to digest for some children because it contains the probiotic, but it may not be suitable for all the children. But for those who can tolerate it, as I've said, you first give the child some time. You can use it if you see that the child is using it well without maybe having diarrhea or constipation, you can use it. But while you are introducing it, you introduce it slowly. And while introducing it, you observe the stool of your child. You also observe their skin, because most of the time, the reason why we remove the casein is because maybe it causes skin blemishes. So when we are advising for this, we are not replacing it. We are just advising it so that you can try if it works, because it might not work for every child. Then camel's milk is advisable because it has less casein and it also contains some immune supportive protein. So I would advise for camel's milk.
Okay, now we move on to the next question, which is how do we identify gut issues? What kind of medical tests are done to be able to identify?
So for gut issues, most of the time you don't need maybe a medical checkup to know. There are common signs that can show that the child has gut issues, which I've already mentioned, but maybe I'll repeat. You might have constipation, which are hard stools or infrequent stooling. So when your child stays for 2 or 3 days without going for number 2, definitely the child has constipation. Constipation is a gut issue. Then diarrhea. Then when your child has very strong smelling stools, like when your child goes number 2, you can't stay in the room. Then another one, when there's mucus in the stool. Then another gut issue is vomiting or reflux. Then apart from that, there are also some behavioral signs that are linked to gut issues, like maybe sudden increase in irritability. Maybe your child gets meltdowns frequently. Sleep disturbances. Maybe your child has insomnia. Regression in behavior or skills, or when your child is, I forgot to mention this up there, when your child is pooping undigested food, like when maybe they eat vegetables, they just come out the way they ate it. That's also a gut issue. Another sign of gut issue is maybe eczema and poor weight gain or sudden weight changes. Maybe that your child was big, all of a sudden they are small. Then poor weight gain, when they don't add weight as it's required.
All right. Thank you very much. We move on to the next question. How does sensory sensitivities affect food choices and nutrition status? How does sensory sensitivities affect food choices and nutrition status? Yes, food choices and nutrition status.
So there are foods that when your child is maybe they can't tolerate food that are mushy. When they can't tolerate that, definitely they are having sensitivity issues with that. Can I have the question again? Sorry.
Just 1 minute.
Maybe I can help.
Yes.
How does sensory sensitivities affect food choices and nutrition status?
Okay, so for many autistic children, food is not just the taste. Most of the time they get affected by the smell, the texture, maybe how it looks. A child might just look at food like this and already they don't want it. So for many autistic children, food is not just the taste, it's everything, the smell, the texture, the appearance. So autistic children may be sensitive to maybe the texture. Maybe they prefer crunchy or dry foods. They can reject mixed or mushy food. because they can't tolerate it. Maybe the food has very strong smells that can trigger them to not like it. Maybe they like raw food and you expect them to eat cooked food. So raw foods, maybe like carrots, you can encourage them to eat exactly what they feel like eating, what they can manage. On maybe appearance, maybe they don't like the color of the food. That one immediately it's a turn off for them. Maybe the shape of the food, that already they won't eat. So they prefer the same looking food. So ensure you give your child what exactly they prefer eating. There are some children who also get affected by the temperature of the food. Maybe when the food is too hot, they can't eat. Or maybe when the food is too cold, they can't eat. Maybe they only like foods that are at room temperature. So ensure they eat they eat the food at the exact temperature that they want. So because of these sensory driven choices, children may be able to be affected and they end up eating limited variety of foods, which while they avoid eating some foods, most of the children that I've worked with, they get irritated by foods like vegetables or maybe fruits. The moment a child doesn't eat food which has vegetables, they are going to have low fiber. This will necessarily lead to constipation. They can also be at risk of deficiencies like iron, zinc, calcium, because they rely on eating some types of food. So selective eating is not stubbornness. It's often the nervous system protecting itself. So when your child doesn't eat this and this, it's not refusal, it's because they are sensitive.
All right, thank you very much. Maybe
So to add to that,
yes.
Instead of forcing variety, we should work with what their sensory prefers and offer the nutrients in acceptable forms. Like maybe if your child can't eat vegetables when they are cooked, try and blend that vegetable and maybe add it to something that the child likes. Try and focus majorly on nutritional adequacy first instead of variety. If a child prefers crunchy food, you can use roasted vegetables. This is about you, not your child. So don't think about you, think about your child, because your child is the one eating.
All right, maybe we can combine these two. The question is around on maybe point us towards the direction of how we can help fix the gut of an autistic child who we have identified they have all the sensitivities. And also, while at it, what do you recommend for a child who has insomnia?
Okay,
Raisa?
maybe I'll start with the first one.
Yes.
How I can support a child with gut health? Gut.
Yes. How can we fix gut issues? Maybe some rules of the thumb.
You can focus on fruits. Like I've mentioned, we have pawpaw, banana, apple. Like for apple, you can cook it if it's needed. It's not a must you eat it the way we eat it raw. Then add vegetables like skuma, spinach, pumpkin leaves, carrots. Some parents say that their child can't eat carrots when it's cooked. But why don't you give it to them when it's raw? And why can't you grate it? Like carrot, you can grate it in rice. They are going to get the same vitamins. So for proteins, you can add like eggs, beans, fish. Variety comes first before comfort, not before comfort. Then you can also use probiotic and fermented foods, like we've mentioned, kefir. Then start low and not slow. Introduce one at a time. Watch their stool their sleep and behavior.
Now that you've mentioned sleep, anything that you'd recommend for sleep deficiency? Yes,
So
Raisa?
on sleep deficiency, this is a very big concern mostly in autistic children. So sleep is not luxury. It's a biological need that affects behavior, learning, gut, and nutrition. So most of the children have sleeping problems because some of the problems that are common with autistic children is maybe difficulty in falling asleep, maybe irregular waking patterns. They may sleep, then wake up, then sleep. That's irregular sleep. Then frequent light walking. Some walk during the night. Some of the contributing factors may include sensory sensitivities. Maybe they are sensitive to noise. Maybe they are sensitive to light. So ensure you reduce this before the child goes to sleep. So at times they may be having gut discomfort. Maybe they can't sleep because their gut is affected. So ensure you look at these small issues that we've been mentioning, like diarrhea, constipation. The child may not be sleeping because he has a gut issue. The child may not be sleeping because they have nutrient deficiencies, like maybe iron. The child may not be sleeping because they have inconsistent routines. And there may be foods that can make maybe the child sleep better. So try and monitor your child. Maybe when he ate this, that day he slept well. When he didn't eat this, that's where the casein and whey come in. At times when we take away the milk and the wheat, the child will sleep well. So when we advise you for that, try and monitor. See, we removed the wheat from the diet. What happened? No, don't just remove and now you want to stay for maybe let's say a month or 2 months without your child eating that, and you are not monitoring how the child is behaving after maybe removing these foods. Then a tired brain struggles to regulate emotions and appetite. So make sure you monitor your child. Increase their activity in the evening when they are almost going to sleep. Like in the afternoons, you can make them play. Let them get tired. The moment they get tired and they eat, they'll be full and they'll sleep.
All right. Thank you very much. Maybe at this point, any comment on goat milk as a final question?
So goat milk also has casein, but the casein in goat milk is, what do we call it? It is type 2 casein. I don't know if I'm making sense. Goat milk is naturally rich in calcium, protein, and fats. So I can advise for it because the casein in goat milk doesn't affect, it is easier to digest compared to cow.
All right, thank you very much. Maybe at this point, we'll hand over to Carol.
Okay, thank you very much, Mwende. Thank you for all the questions coming in. Sylvia, I can see your question. What is sensory diet? Maybe Reza, you could also speak on that.
A sensory diet is a planned set of activities that are designed to help a child who has autism to meet their sensory needs throughout the day. So maybe if I can explain more, let's think of it as a nutritional diet for senses. So just as food fuels the body, a sensory diet, it fuels the brain and the nervous system. Or maybe I can give an example. So a sensory diet can help a child to maybe self-regulate. They may be able to sit at the table. They may be able to tolerate new foods, or maybe focus more on eating without meltdowns. So a sensory diet helps them self-regulate.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. I hope Sylvia, that has shed some light. I see two raised hands. Ryan, please unmute yourself. Sylvia, your hand is also raised. Ryan, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. The session has been nice, but I'm so sorry for joining late. I wanted to add something about sensory diet. So nilikuwa nimesikia hapo questions and concerns about sleep, and I've noticed it's common among children in the spectrum. So just as Lisa has said about sensory diet, I don't want to repeat, but I don't know if I can be allowed to mention now the examples of activities. Kindly nisiwachoshe na meeting ilikuwa iishe.
Maybe briefly, because we are almost coming to the end.
Okay, sensory diet iko na 3 main phases. Phase number 1 is alerting phase. Phase number 2 is calming phase. Then phase number 2 is organizing. Then phase number 3 is calming. Examples of activities for alerting. We have activities like jumping on top of therapy ball, pushing heavy loads. Then examples of organizing activities now. They are majorly the tabletop activities. Then activities for calming, again, we use the therapy ball, lying both in supine and prone position, then back and forth movement, slow. That one can help your child regulate himself or herself. So utapata the issue about sleep inakuwa sorted. Child needs to sleep at least 10, I can say 10 hours. Kilala 8 ama 9, nafaa amke either 6 ama 7 asubuhi. But next time we get a chance, we'll talk more about that. But thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you so much, Lisa. I've learned more about nutrition. Thank you so much for the chance.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I also see that there's also a comment there that has addressed the same. Thank you. Thank you, Sheila, for that. Now, I had seen one more hand up. Please unmute.
Good evening. I am glad for this session. It has been quite eye-opening. And of course, thank you for the last speaker about the sensory diet. I have now gotten what it meant. It's not food, it's those activities. Okay, so my main concern, and probably I'm kind of shocked about gluten and casein free, because once we find ourselves probably with children who are told, maybe we're told probably they are autistic, because even the process of getting to be diagnosed in Kenya is quite not open, even to get the medical support and all. I find myself in a crossroads where I've gotten a lot of information. Sometimes it is confusing to know. once, because for example, if I take my child, I took them to school, the school becomes so strict. They're like, if you don't drop these foods, your child will never speak. And then now today, it's like it's been demystified. That is a myth, and of course, we are desperate as parents when you're told that your child will not speak. Drop all those things. It's like rules. So I find myself having dropped all that. But I think when it comes to casein, probably even the child themselves uh, regulated themselves because they didn't want milk, things to do with milk. But now I understand that gluten-free is not like a stamp to like everyone must, every autistic child must must drop gluten-free. So I'm really wondering what are the procedures to ensure, of course, I've understood that if the person doesn't have any gut issues, they should not be put in a gluten-free just because they are autistic. But or there's some behavior that I usually what is it called? I observe once my child takes wheat, for example, becomes too hyperactive, and my child also has an issue with sleep. So because I don't know what is making them do this, so I just say, okay, I've been given a rule to drop all those casein and gluten-free things so that my child talks. Where could there be maybe a direction of how do I start to know what affects them, especially when they don't have really clearly gut issues, but probably they have behavioral issues, like sometimes quite hyperactive, and also and on that line also, what is the connection of sugar? Is sugar also supposed to be dropped? Because we have been given, personally, I've been given many threats: drop sugar, drop this, if you want your child to ever talk. Does it really mean it can change, it can really help them do that? I'm just a desperate mother. Yeah.
It's okay. It's a safe space. Thank you for asking.
Okay, so maybe I'll start with the wheat part. So if you have noticed that your child gets affected, like maybe he or she changes or gets better when not on wheat, I'd advise you don't go for wheat. But right now there is gluten-free wheat. So you can't just put your child not to eat wheat products, like maybe chapati, mandazi. We have gluten-free wheat which you can get for that. So don't put your child so much on the not eating side. You can adjust that for him or maybe for the whole family. So on the question on sugar, why we limit sugar or why we drop sugar, why we limit sugar or why we drop sugar, it's because the sugar affects the blood spikes, which can affect behavior. So simple sugars like maybe sodas and sweets, desserts, they are easily digested. They are digested easily. So this can cause a rapid rise and fall in the blood glucose. So sometimes when there's this rapid rise and fall in the blood glucose, it can cause irritability or maybe hyperactivity to the child. So also, high sugar intake can be harmful to the gut of the child because it can cause bacteria to grow in the gut. So many children on the spectrum already have gut issues like constipation, bloating. So the moment you add sugar to it, it makes it worse. So a balanced gut often improves digestion. When the gut is affected, you can be able to improve digestion. There's also another point on that. Foods that are high in sugar are often low in nutrients. So when your child always eats sugary foods, they get less nutrients. So try and give your child foods that are more nutritious, like maybe vegetables, fruits. Then also sugar increases the risk of dental cavities. Also, their oral health is affected. But always try and avoid cutting it suddenly. Like you are told this today, you stop it immediately. Try and maybe reduce the amount. Maybe you are putting for him 2, now try 1. Then these days there are sweeteners that can be added. So if your child is not using sugar, we have sweeteners like stevia. I think you've heard of stevia. You can use it instead of sugar. But don't be lied to that honey will help, because honey these days, unless it's honey that you are sure you are the one who have harvested it, or maybe you've seen it, don't count on the honey that is sold in the supermarket.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we can replace it with the kind sugar. We can replace with stevia and the rest.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now we are coming to the end. I see there's already a hand that's raised. There's another question. There are 2 questions that have come in. I am maybe 2 or 3 people. It's 9 p.m. Should we give the chance to these 3 or do we close it there? So Sheila, please unmute. And then we'll bring in Miriam and Josephine, and kindly, let's say, we'll pause there.
Okay. I just wanted to, and some of which areas I think has already spoken about, especially the stevia one. I just wanted to highlight some of the things that are the snacks that we've been able to do, maybe just as a list, to share with parents in terms of what has worked for us and given us less of a headache. Of course, the fruits and vegetables that they tolerate, smoothies with the fruits that they like. We also do sweet potatoes and matoke chips, homemade crisps or chips, because they love crunchy things. We also do popcorns, because I have one who really loves chewing on popcorns, homemade, of course, gluten-free snacks. And when you do research, you find out that you're actually able to get more and more affordable gluten-free flour. You can make it yourself, or you're also able to actually, there are Indians who actually sell more affordable versions. So with this flour, as we still do pancakes, and of course we replace the sugar with other sweeteners. We still do mandazis, we still do chapati, we still do cakes. I've learned to do biscuits and crackers. Also, we do probiotic, of course, food that were mentioned. I'm also surprised that they actually can tolerate bone broth. So we just boil sometimes soup and we sit with our cups, and we also take it as a form of a snack or just an after meal or something like that. And also sometimes the main meals. And of course, sometimes the oats. But I think we've just learned to be able to do snacks at home, because then sometimes we are confused that snacks automatically translates to buying things from the supermarkets or such things. But if you're able to actually do 1 or 2 yourself at home, you'll be surprised that actually they start enjoying it based on their sensitivities and what they actually like. If they're crunchy people, popcorns has been a very easy snack for us in terms of non-main meals. Of course, the main meals have the dense things, but then snacks to keep them busy, because as someone said, I also have a child who can eat throughout the day. So to address that, I have snacks that actually are not necessarily either weight gaining or or sugar heavy or something like that, because then she can eat throughout the day. So, and also a sensory issue, she loves chewing. Yeah, so either it's on a chewy toy or something, or a food. So simple snacks that are actually healthy have been able to help us as well. I just wanted to share that from what has worked for us. Thanks.
Thank you for that. I believe it has shed more light. I think give us the link for cheap gluten-free flour, just as a follow-up to that. Chandarana Supermarket,
Okay.
I think, has that, but go ahead.
Yes.
Any
Yes,
other?
Chandarana is one of them. And that specific one, Chandarana has it. If you're lucky to find an Indian who actually imports, you find it at 10 shillings less. So when you're buying more, so there's an Indian in Parklands who actually does it at about a few shillings less than Chandarana. So if you're buying more, then you're actually making, and then also in the same Indian shops, you find some ready-made gluten-free snacks. Sometimes you can actually buy something is easily a cracker, a what. They also go into making sometimes something. I find them a bit expensive as opposed to when I make them myself. But also ni kujituma tu. You start learning how to make them yourself sometimes, unfortunately, and also become a frequenter market asubuhi, because sometimes even these potatoes are very expensive sometimes. So you become those ones who also really wake up early to go to the main market, unfortunately, so that you're actually able to afford some of these things as opposed to just buying by the road, and it's more expensive. Yeah, thanks.
Would you please mention maybe the name of the flour, so that it's easier to identify?
Yeah, let me put the image. Let me drop the it's a yellow pack. Let me just drop it right now on the chat.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you for that. Going to a question here from Miriam. I have a child living with Down syndrome. When eating certain meals, she does not want to stop eating. What do you recommend? What can they do in such a situation? And then also, my son from Josephine is lately stamping his feet on the hills at night, also screams in the morning alone or when someone talks on phone. What could be the cause? He's 40 years.
So I think the last question is not nutrition related. Maybe a parent who is going through that, who has gone through that, can help us on that. I'll answer the one on Down syndrome. Thank you for sharing that. So many children on Down syndrome have low muscle tone, which includes the face and the mouth. This can make chewing and swallowing less efficient. So sometimes it may cause them maybe to eat faster or want more food to feel full. So these children also have slower metabolism. This means that they gain more weight easily if the food portions are not managed carefully. So I'd advise to maybe monitor on the portions and also try and give the child foods that are not refined, like try foods that have fiber that can keep the child full for longer. Also, for these children, eating can become a source of comfort or stimulation. So maybe if you can keep them more engaged, maybe with other things, it may divert their attention to food, since food is used as a comfort to them. You can also try and give them balanced foods, like including protein, fiber. Also try and give foods that are high, try and limit foods that have high calorie, like sugary foods, like you have mentioned.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Do we have any occupational therapists in the house who can, or in the webinar, who can help us with the Josephine's question? Or any other specialists who may know how to assist? Allow us to get back to you on this through your email, Josephine. We will follow it up and get back to this as soon as possible. We want to come to the end of our webinar today, and we are okay, Priska, sorry. Everything is on point. Looking forward to another meeting. Priska, would you answer? Do you have an answer, please, to the question on stamping the feet? Would you please give an insight to what Josephine can do? Okay. So we want to say, share our gratitude to every last one of us who's created time to be here. We hope you found it very insightful. Raisa, we're very grateful for your time, for your wealth of knowledge. We are very grateful to have you. To my co-moderator, Mwende, thank you so much for being here and working with us today. We're very grateful. So we want to come to the end of our meeting, and we will come to the end with a word of prayer. And I'd like to request one of us to pray for us. Anthony, are you there? Kindly unmute and pray for us.
Okay, let us pray. Lord, we thank you this evening. We thank you for your grace, for your love upon us this day, oh Lord. Thank you for this session that you've had, oh Lord. Thank you for blessing Raisa, oh Lord, to be able to speak to your people, oh Lord, this evening and all the insights that we've gained. Thank you for gifted gems and to the moderators. Thank you for this session, oh Lord, mighty Father. It's been fulfilling. It's been a blessing to all of us. We pray that, Lord, even as we follow up on the things that have come up, oh Lord, we pray that you shall indeed enlighten and transform lives, and the children, adults, and everybody else in this community, oh Lord, shall benefit, oh Lord, mighty Father, all to your glory and honor. Those who are traveling back home, may you give them journey mercies, oh Lord. As this we pray, trust, and believe in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Thank you.
Thank you so much, and have a blessed night, everybody.
Blessed night
Thank
too.
you. Blessed night too. Thank you.
Thank you.